Hello everyone, my name is Beckett and welcome back to the channel. Today in Division 2, it is Tuesday and we're going to be checking out all the vendors. Everything has reset, and if you are new to this channel, I'm not going to go over every stat. I'm just going to show you the best picks, what you should buy, and we're going to move on from there. But before we get started, if you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe, and if you like the video, smash that like button. Alright, we went ahead and skipped New York. As usual, it is straight trash, so we are here at the vendor in Washington, D.C., and the first thing we have is the safety distance. I've talked this gun up before, and this is amazing. This thing almost turns into a rifle or an auto rifle, or at least an extremely long range AR when you get a kill with it, and right off the bat, it's almost got max SMG damage. That critical hit chance, you could re-roll that, and then we have this 22.5 optimal range. You could keep that or re-roll to something like damage to armor, damage to target out of cover, but this talent, it comes with perfect outsider. After killing an enemy, gain 125% optimal range and 125% accuracy for 10 seconds. Now, if you can chain these kills, this thing becomes a laser beam and it hits targets, and it really doesn't have any damage drop off for quite a bit. It is a really fun gun to use. It, of course, is not the meta, but it is always fun. Next thing we have is this tactical 45. Now it's kind of mid-tier, but this got some nice rolls. Now if you wanted to take this to the optimization station and you are crazy, I would honestly re-roll this talent to a strained, and this gun would be a very nice pick if you are a rich mofo and you can afford to optimize that. Otherwise, we are going to head over to the clan vendor. Alright, the first thing he's got is the Tsunami. Now this is a great named shotgun, and it comes with the talent Perfect Pummel, 2 consecutive kills, refill the magazine, and grant plus 40% weapon damage for 10 seconds. I love running this with a Hunter's Fury build. I'll use this with my Ridgeways and Adrenaline Rush backpack, usually with Badger, or you can even go Grupo if you want that extra critical hit damage, but you're going to get a lot more damage out of a Badger backpack. Now this is just all around fun build to play with, and if you're going to pick this up, I would re-roll this stability to probably something to damage target out of cover, damage armor. You know the drill. Next, we have a Tip of the Spear. Now, this is not a very popular set, or at least you don't see it run that much anymore, but it is a god roll, and I like playing with this set. You know, it's not always going to be the best set, but it's something different. You get to switch things up, and you get to use your signature weapon all the time. Now, it came with a pretty much god roll. We have 15% weapon damage, and you can re-roll that stat to whatever you like. We also have the Hunter's Fury gloves, and go ahead and pick this up if you do not have a max roll on your Hunter Fury gloves, because it's just a perfect roll. You can re-roll that to whatever you want. More weapon handling, critical hit damage, however you are playing your Hunter's Fury build. Next thing we have is the Hard Wire, and it comes with 10.8% skill haste, and honestly you would just want to re-roll this to skill damage. This is just a pure skill damage gear set. Now we did have this Vector with a 15% SMG damage, and just don't pick that up. Just don't do it. If you're going to pick up a Vector, I would go with the 45 ACP. Now I believe this one has a lower damage profile just because it is the 9mm variant, and it's just always go for the 45. Just, you won't be sorry. Alright, over here at Campus Settlement, we have a must buy. We have the Punch Drunk Mask, and it came with 20% headshot damage and a max roll of critical hit damage. Now you can always re-roll that to max weapon damage, although headshot builds aren't really the thing or the meta in PvE anymore like they were in year one. This is still a really good mask, and what I like using this for is I will do a little mix and match Memento shield and use this in a legendary shield build inside the summit, and you can just go through no problem. You ain't not gonna have no problem until you hit those hunters, and then I just switch out to my M1A focus build and nuke those guys down. This is just a really good mask, and it's just something you're going to want to have in your inventory, and I would pick it up if you do not have a great Punch Drunk today. Other than that, we did have this Hunting M44, and just pick this up if you are still looking for that max headshot damage on your marksman rifles for your recal library. Other than that, we're going to head over to the theater and see if our boy got anything for us this week. Alright, over at the theater settlement, we have the Surge. Now looking at this damage profile, it looks terrible, but honestly just pick this up. This is really great for those skill builds, and you can use them in tandem either with your harmony, your capacitor, or anything else with perfectly in sync. Or if you're just running an in sync build, you're going to want to use this as a secondary and just get a headshot every 15 seconds so you can keep that 25% skill damage up. When I'm using my hardwire seeker builds, or I'm using a rigger set and just using that, I always like to have a surge in my offhand so you can keep that buff rolling. Now if you have trouble doing that, that's okay, and if you just don't like running in sync, you can always use this. You won't have that 40% extra skill damage, but you will have at least 25% skill damage. All in all, a great gun and something you should have in your stash. Alright, we're at DZ East, and the first thing we have is the Carnage. Oh, there it goes. There it finally shows up. Now this is a really great gun if you were going to be running it with ongoing directive. Deals plus 25% weapon damage to bleeding enemies. Although this is not great rolls, so honestly I would just pass on it. Next we have the Eclipse Protocol mask, and honestly just re-roll that to status effects if you plan on using it. And we also have a Bulwark Foundry. Now if you do not have this gear set, this is a great tanking set, but honestly just bad rolls, so go ahead and skip on that, and we're going to be heading over to DZ South. Alright, first thing we have is the Mozambique Special. Now unless you are a pistol enthusiast, I would just pass on this, and even if you do love pistols that much, just wait till you can find a better roll, because this is just all around a bad roll. The next thing we have is the Hunter's Fury backpack, and just pass on this. You never want this backpack. It's just a terrible talent, and I wish they would change it into something else, but Hunter's Fury is already a really strong set, so I really don't think it needs a buff. Next we have the Hunter's Fury chest piece, and just a mid-tier roll, but if you are looking for something almost close to max roll, I would go ahead and pick this up. But if you played in Season 3, you probably have a million different Hunter Fury set. Other than that, we are heading over to our last DZ. Alright, we're here at DZ West, and we have the Firm Handshake. This is the name Sokolov gloves, and it comes with 15% status effects always, although this is a bad roll, and just go out into the light zone and farm a better Firm Handshake. It's really easy to get a good roll on this because that is always going to be a fixed stat. So as long as you get a nice weapon damage roll or a nice critical hit chance, critical hit damage, handling, whatever you are running on that, then you can just re-roll that weapon damage or re-roll it into whatever you fancy. Now we have the Hunter's Fury gloves, and just pass on this. Just a very low roll and not worth picking up. And we have the new gear set, the lazy, well, just developers are lazy, so they made Hardwire 2.0, but I would just pass on this. I mean, you could always just re-roll this, but you'll probably have a million rigger pieces if you are running the season pass right now. Other than that, we don't really have anything too special that's really going to step out, but tomorrow we do have Cassie, and if you are looking for build videos, tutorials, Division 2 news, or anything for old players to new players and everything in between, go ahead and check out my channel, and thanks again for watching, guys.